I'm Flo, Florence. Since coming up to Oxford, my time has been pretty much judiciously split between the library and theatre. So I'm really passionate about theatre, want to make my profession in it, and therefore I'm incredibly grateful for the projects in which I've been able to participate over the last 2 years. Our university boasts a thriving and creative community which is at the heart of the Oxford drama scene, which I'm really proud to be a part of. And to date, I've been involved in 11 productions, and whilst I've been mainly acting, I've also had the opportunity to try my hand at production roles, namely producing Spoonface Steinberg and assistant directing Spoonface Steinberg. Oxford offers a safe but also challenging space in which to experiment and develop. You can try your hand at new things, that's partly the point. And I see OUDS a key facilitator of this. So my time on the OUDS Standing Committee has provided me with an understanding of how the society functions and how it converses with the student body as a whole and what is required of it. And I see the President's role as overseeing this dialogue and upholding precedent whilst encouraging innovation and moving forwards. So I do believe OUDS does a wonderful job, and I'm not applying to the presidency with an attitude of change and overhaul at all. I'm applying with an attitude of continuation and embellishment. So consequently, my main manifesto points are firstly, practical workshops. I'd like to run as many during term time as humanly and financially possible. So as Oxford is the place in which many actors and directors develop, and producers and stage managers and everyone else, OUDS should have a hand in introducing to them as many techniques and practices as possible. Even if these workshops are just a series of taster sessions, it would offer theatre makers in the universities the opportunity to explore the ways in which they can approach a script or a theatre space and give them the tools, however rudimentary, to just begin a process of experimentation. Secondly, devised theatre, which is a kind of follow-up to the previous. As it stands, the way in which the bid system functions does not provide much support for a devised theatre piece. So rightly so, we expect a script and a concept and a budget based on tangible forethought, and it's good business practice. But as a result, I think we're possibly in need of an alternative model for those out there who want to create a play from scratch as an ensemble, so that we can properly support them and support this process. And there's not much in the way of devised theatre here, it's on the up, and I would like to establish a precedent. Thirdly, events. So with the first Oxford Brooks OUDS Scratch Night fast approaching this evening, I would like to make the Scratch Night, with or without Brooks' involvement, to be a regular termly thing. New writing is to be encouraged, and the event also provides a social space for OUDS members, one that isn't a rehearsal room or a kind of disassociated audience, and it encourages genuine criticism and conversation, which is always a good thing. Fourthly, delegating responsibility. This has been a part of the previous two manifestos and is kind of how the committee works. And having seen the benefits of giving all OUDS committee members a project, this is something I'm really keen to continue. Can't remember what number I'm on, fifthly. Increased presence. So whilst the UDO email has all the available information people need, and we have our own website with all the information, I would like to go kind of a step further and have an OUDS blog. It would be beneficial, I believe, to have write-ups of all the OUDS workshops so that they exist as more than a 5-line blurb in an email. There should be a record somewhere of the things OUDS gets up to, and a place where the committee has a more personable presence, especially as we don't have our own HQ. It would be good to have some sort of online base where that's where the committee is, and we can have a more public face as a body of individuals. I think this would be a really great way to reach out to freshers, for one thing, to have an online space that is a bit more personable than the email / the website. Sixthly, offering advice. So we offer funding to shows naturally and are available to answer any questions sent our way. However, I think it would be beneficial, especially with first-time production teams, just to check in with the plays halfway through development stages and make sure they're okay. Not in any way as an attempt for OUDS to muscle in on someone else's creative process, rather a genial offer of help. If there's anything you need, we are here. if your SM has dropped out, we can find you one. We may know someone for marketing, like we can help. And I think it would be helpful to all involved if we offered the opportunity to touch base with plays that we're involved in to properly serve the productions that we support. Seventhly, last point anyways, is outreach based, and I'd like to continue with events such as the Forum Theatre Workshop. It's important that everyone, myself included, actually gets a sense of the ways and means, in which drama speaks to a body bigger than the in-house audience, like theatre as an educative tool, as a therapeutic practice, as a crossover of cultural branches, expanding the ways in which we see Oxford drama. So it's not just doing this play for the Keble Theatre, what does it mean when it gets bigger? That wasn't even a sentence. It encourages us to look beyond Oxford and outside of traditional contexts. So to sum up, I'm running for president because I believe in the value of the committee and in the continuation of the good work it's done for decades. And being part of it this year has been a wonderful experience. So, yeah, many thanks. Hello.
Hi, I was wondering,
Yes.
in terms of the two really, really big events that OUDS are responsible for, CUPPers and the NWF.
Yep.
What if there is anything structurally that you would do to change the way that OUDS handles those events? Or so if there's anything you think doesn't work?
I think actually one of the biggest problems, mainly with the New Writing Festival, is just kind of selling new writing, and it becomes a thing of customizing people to new writing and making them excited about coming to see new writing. I think the New Writing Festival is a wonderful thing, and I agree that there could be more time for people to write plays and what have you. But I just think we need to find some kind of way of going, it's great, because new writing, obviously, it's not Tom Stoppard or what have you. People don't go to the theatre to watch new writing knowing that it's going to be something they will enjoy or appreciate for an academic purpose or something. It's a gamble, really, and we need to find ways in which people not trust new writing, but see it really worth investing their time in going to see new writing, especially on a student level, because this is where it all starts. So that's one thing I'd like to work on, and I don't have all the answers at the moment. I think it comes from discussion and generally hashing it out. Yeah.
Your idea of increased presence partly to do with what you've just been saying about marketing and WF, and I think part of the problem with the workshops that we run is that some of them are very well attended and some of them no one comes to.
Yeah.
It's a sort of marketing thing. Do you think that there's space on the OUDS committee for having an exclusively kind of marketing role, like someone to send emails to all the JCRs being like, guys, the NWF is happening, which
I do think that is actually really worthy, especially in terms of continuity of marketing. We'll make sure that everything does get out and comes from one place, and we always know who's doing it in ways, because I think there is a case in which things can get not lost, because it always eventually happens, but especially with marketing you have to be as upfront and early as you possibly can be. I do think there is space for that, yes.
I had two questions, they're more like kind of detailed questions. So devised theatre, you're like totally right to point out like the structural problems with accepting it and promoting it, and I'm just wondering how you deal with that. And the second question was outreach-wise. So would it be the case of just doing workshops, or kind of what other have been running, and like do you have any ideas of promoting the workshops? Because the Forum Theatre one was cool, but they were like
no one can do it. I think, especially having listened to some of the previous manifestos, it comes as a point of, if we have a discussion space, like if OUDS does meet up regularly, twice, as in talking to wider people, these are things you can drop in and talk about. So you have a Forum Theatre workshop, or you say that this is happening, and then you can all get together to talk about it and talk about the benefits of seeing theatre working in these kind of ways. I think it's going to have to, it comes as a kind of rolling thing. You have to start with one and keep the discussion going, so then there's another one which more people are aware of, and it rolls and builds, which is the benefit of having a yearly slot, is something you can develop across the year. In terms of the devised theatre thing, I just think similarly with new writing and essentially trusting people to go with it. It is really hard to, I think, walk to bidding going, we're going to make a play for 8th week. Do you have a script? No. Do you have an idea of what the play's going to be? No, not really. That all happens when we get in the room. Again, I don't know. I don't have it in my head what the format of making this happen will be, but I do really strongly believe that there needs to be a different way of supporting that kind of theatre, because it will make it easier to happen, which will make more of it will happen, and it's really exciting from a creative point of view, and it will mean possibly that we see a lot of...
Yeah, go. Really
so the end of my previous thing was about the devised stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's essentially, obviously, the bid system as works. You go with a script and an idea and a concept and a sort of design concept. Whereas with devised, you have nothing. You're waiting to get in the room and see what happens. And I think there should be a way in which we can support that, which the bid system currently works very well for what it does, but is too structured for what is essentially an unstructured piece in the beginning. So I think we can do more to help. Hello.
If you were unsuccessful getting president, would you be willing to run for another exec position, or would you just be happy on standing, or what would you...
I would be happy on standing because there are things I want to do, and the standing committee achieves a lot. The committee achieves a lot as a whole. It's all a large discussion. Probably apply for SEC. I think I'm the last person who qualified to be treasurer. So
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Thanks.